is the transfer portal working? Is this a good thing? Because today we got another lawsuit where an NCAA athlete sued the NCAA for immediate eligibility because of the requirement in the NCAA transfer policy that states you may transfer once without sitting out, but not twice. And there has been controversial denials of waivers to that policy. And now we're in front of a judge who today issued a temporary restraining order against the NCAA to allow every athlete who is seeking a transfer waiver to play immediately. It is an unprecedented move, and it makes us wonder, Jake, is the NCAA transfer portal good or bad for college athletes?
Look, in reality, I think it's good. I think that kids should have the option. They should have the ability to go wherever it is that they feel gives them the best opportunity. Notice that there's no legislature around, having conversations or creating an opportunity for yourself when you're in the portal, right? Like nobody's saying, hey, you can't talk to them or this person or that person. No, once the kid hops in the portal, they have the right to talk to pretty much, whoever they want. So I like it from that standpoint. But I think what a very slippery slope is being created when you talk about the idea that, kids, are not all getting, I would say, the exact same opportunities in terms of NIL based on their philosophy on NIL, meaning some kids are very aggressive with NIL through the portal, thinking, okay, I had, a great season at Duke. Now I'm going to go to Notre Dame. And because of that move to Notre Dame, I can make a lot more NIL money. And that's why I went to Notre Dame. Some kids don't have the opportunity to go to Notre Dame. But the reality of that situation is it's an on the field, performance-based business 9 out of 10 times. So when I look at the transfer portal and I look at opportunity and I look at, opportunity taken from these kids versus the opportunity that's given to the kids. Yeah, I don't think the transfer portal is killing, college football itself, but I do think that NIL plus the transfer portal equals the NCAA are losing their grip on where the money flows through athletic departments in college. So I think it's certainly a very layered discussion. It's certainly a very, gray water, muddy discussion because everyone's got a different philosophy on this thing. And my point just is that these kids should be able to go out and earn as much money as possible. And, Bronny James right now is leading the way at USC. I think he's making $5.4 million a year in NIL or whatever it is. And he's the number one NIL athlete in the country. And so when you go down that list, it's like, hey, it really is just a thing where if you're a superstar, you can go out and get paid, but it requires that you're a superstar.
I think there is this paradox where there's always going to be a loser. And I am not certain with the transfer portal that there are winners. Like this Drew Pine story today, the quarterback at Arizona State, who transferred from Notre Dame to Arizona State, now back to Notre Dame. He's going to sit out a semester and then he'll graduate. And so he'll be a graduate transfer. Like those stories, there are too many to count like that. The other thing that I think is problematic here is if this case that is before this judge, right? And if you don't know the particulars of this case, this is West Virginia basketball player Raekwon Battle suing the NCAA so he could be immediately eligible, which he is now. But if let's say the judge sides with the student athletes here. Every year you're going to have kids that are going to play at 4 different universities. You're going to have a situation where the transfer portal is not the issue, because I don't believe the transfer portal is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
NIL, name, image, and likeness is the issue. And you're going to have a bidding war every single year. A player is going to be like, well, hey, I got a $4 million contract at Colorado. Texas, what are you guys offering? And I just don't think that's the best way for college athletics to go. I think I am all in favor of kids earning all of the money that they are able to earn, 100%. I do not believe from any corner of the college universe that kids hopping around the transfer portal for paydays is what's best for the kid or for college athletics. And I do think at some point the value of an education matters. I don't believe that'll be the norm, but I think that's where we're going to find kids who are never going to graduate, who aren't going to have transfers, the credits at transfer. That I just don't see why that's necessary. I think a lot of people will tell you it should be unlimited transfers. I just don't believe that that's true. And I understand that, hey, listen, there are hardships and there should be a specific set of examples that allow kids to transfer on hardships. I think we are asking for trouble. Unintended consequences, as we talk about all the time on this program, unintended consequences will come back to bite you in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
They will. And I was thinking about this today. I was driving into the office, screaming at the top of my lungs, singing as though I was a multicultural phenomenon like Harry Styles. I was listening to Golden by Harry Styles and just singing it with passion and voice.
That's bullshit.
No, I was. Seriously. I'm an excellent singer in the shower and in the car, apparently. But my point is, unlimited transfers is not the solution here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, because I think it's terrible for the kid in my opinion.
Maybe it's the solution in the upper division that's, trying to be created where
Maybe.
you pay in. Maybe this is precisely the example I've been waiting for. Hey, we paid to be in this upper tier, of an NIL group per se, and we want to make it so that if you go to school inside our group, you can transfer any school you want inside the group.
Yeah, I just don't love that.
Yeah, you might not love it, but I think these are the kind of things that schools are incentivized to join that group on. Hey, if you want to be able to do whatever you want to do as an institution, you're going to have to pay a price for that. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to this. Well, as the proposal referred to it as the subdivision, but
yes,
what we're calling it is the upper class, meaning, hey, we have, a minimum of $6 million to buy in with, and it's more based on, it's happier student athletes in your athletic department. So it could be more, but the point just is that if you want kids to be able to do all these different things that have never been done before, you're going to have to find a workaround. And that's why I think it's no surprise that this subdivision thing got rolled out right before this lawsuit came out. It's not shocking.
I think it's a mistake. And I will continue to say that I feel very passionately that when you are looking at a situation like this, multi-tier, hey, have Rich Guy, you guys play in this group by these rules. I think you're hurting college sports in general when it comes to the availability of talent, because you can't tell me that the little guy is going to be like, oh yeah, we'll take transfer guy from bigger division. I have a problem with that. And I just don't think that it makes a lot of sense to limit, to make it unlimited. It at some level. And I understand we're not in amateur sports anymore. The NCAA, especially in football and basketball, is not amateur sports.
But it feels like that's how they want it to be.
That's a pipe dream, and I get that. We're not in amateur athletics anymore. These guys are paid professional athletes who, in my opinion, in most cases are not focused on their education. They are focused on getting paid as much as they can. And in 9 out of 10 situations, I don't have a problem with that. But I look at somebody that isn't going to get a degree. Maybe they should have the ability to make all the money they can because they're never getting a degree. So inevitably, when that hard stop shows up and you're not a basketball or football player anymore, I don't want Americans to be subsidizing your lifestyle. And again, I go back to what we talked about yesterday. It absolutely is the Robert Swifts of the world. The Sonic teenage basketball player who went bankrupt smoking cocaine and drinking beer and eating pizza in his mansion that was foreclosed on.
Okay, is a hell of a drug.
Right. It's wild, some of these stories.
Right.
And I think we get into these situations where well, the kids should make as much money as they want. Give them every penny.
Johnny Manziel.
I don't disagree with that. But at what point do we say, hey, well, while you're here, we're going to probably need you to get an education? That to me matters, because I think a lot of kids need the education, and the education they need. Hey, here's how retirement and taxes and checking accounts and credit cards and interest rates. Hey, here's how inflation impacts your interest rate. Look at the Shohei Ohtani contract.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are going to say, well, that's stick and ball sports, Monty. Oh, we're here for us, the blue bloods. Well, and you might be. But look at the Shohei Ohtani contract. You want to talk about somebody that understands the economics of his paycheck? That guy deferred $680 million. He's making $200 million or $2 million a year for 10 years. And then when he retires, he'll get $680 million. And people are arguing over how much tax he'll have to pay. Meanwhile, his accountant's like, who gives a shit? You're going to be a billionaire based on the interest of that money in your account.
Facts.
Right? Like, he's working at a different tier than all of us. And we need to find our way to that tier. Transferring 7 times in 3 years is not the way to that tier.
Drew Pine.
Right? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that we're going to let these kids earn all this money and transfer all these times and not teach them how money works.
I think the hard part too is that you have that piece where it's like, we're not giving these kids, the education around handling the money, of course, and managing the money. But then I think it goes a level deeper when you start to talk about the concept of, hey, part of the college experience is, as the cliche saying goes, making men, right? Like making kids into adults. And I think whether it's Angel Reese or whether it's Drew Pine or whoever the hell you want to look at, these kids, part of the education up until this day has been that you grew up in college, right? You came in as a freshman and now you're a different person as a senior. And I think the hard part is that these folks that we all know and love are so good at what they do that the education has been rendered no value because they're not going to need it. Bronny James is going to play in the league. Like Angel Reese is going to the WNBA. Like whoever you want to point to, right? Like, it's this whole situation where you're so good athletically that the education almost doesn't matter. And it's the Larry Fitzgerald story all those years ago where he promised his mom that he would go back to college, he'd go back to college to get his education and his degree after his NFL career was over. And yes, he went and did that. And so it's like, okay, well, whether it's the parents or the member institution, you have to find your way to that education. And so that's what I think we're grappling with right now is like, how much weight do we put on the education piece versus just saying, you know what? These kids know the difference. They know the difference between right and wrong. They know the difference between this, that, and the other. Let's just let them go and do their thing. And, how do we measure that side of it to, hey, yeah, they may know the difference, but we got to show them how to manage money. We got to show them how to do taxes. We got to show them, how to make better choices in whatever part of life. Like, that's what I think people want to talk about. And I think the legislature that's being rolled out, and I think, the old white hairs, as we call them, of the NCAA, are not particularly concerned with if you know how to manage money or not. They're concerned with making sure they keep their pound of flesh. So the real problem is nobody is actually incentivized to make sure the kid gets the education. They're only incentivized to make sure the kid goes through the system so we can get paid, otherwise known as money laundering. That's essentially what this is. Hey, go play sports, because if you play sports, we're going to make money off of the game. So go do your thing. Go make the money. But what's amazing to me is we want to go to court over transfer rules. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, and I think this is the underbelly of NIL and transfer portal. I do. I think the transfer portal has been a boom for most college athletes, but the paydays. I mean, Matt Rule talking about how the average quarterback, what do you say, is going for $1 million or something like that. I mean, it just is not. It's not good. And I look at somebody like Angel Reese. She's going through turbulence at LSU now. Right? She's back in the lineup, but how long was she out of the lineup for disciplinary issues? Somebody like Caitlin Clark selling out a football stadium to play a basketball game. I mean, it is truly remarkable to me that you have so many different scenarios at so many different schools. In our members only group, we're talking about this U of Arizona situation where they have a $240 million athletic budget shortfall now because largely their fans didn't show up to support the football and basketball programs. So they had a lack of ticket sales and concession sales. And so they were using daily available money in their checking accounts at Arizona and made an accounting error to the tune of $240 million. So, quote, draconian cuts are coming to the University of Arizona Athletic Department. That's the difference between Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, right? You look at these behemoth programs.
Oregon.
And you look at, Oregon, you look at Arizona, they misplaced a decimal point and lost $240 million, and now they're going to whack a bunch of sports. Like the difference in the haves and the have-nots in the NCAA is remarkable. It's remarkable. And you've got to find a way, in my opinion, to undo this. And I don't think you'll be able to do that. I truly don't.
I just think it's too big right now. Like, there's no way to, kind of rope this thing in. There's no way to.
No, the horse is out of the barn, dude. The horse is out of the barn.
Well, and even with that being the case, like in some scenarios, like if we were just talking about it, so if this transfer portal thing, this suit, if it was just about the transfer portal, if the ramifications of that decision just impacted the portal, this would be a different conversation. But that's not what it's only about. And that's what I think the bigger thing is. We're not only talking about, hey, how does this impact the NCAA's bottom line now? We're talking about how this is literally impacting kids' bottom line now. Even the single time transfer that isn't Bronny James level stardom, who's making $80,000 a year in NIL. That's still a good chunk of money, man.
Yet the University of Arizona can't find $240 million of their budget.
And furthermore,
that's wild.
You made an accounting error, and now we haven't seen a plan for you to make that up, even though there are many ways to make money on a college campus, right? Like, there are many ways.
There are.
So it surprises me that the folks in Tucson haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see, because the University of Arizona is such a good institution, and there's really smart people managing and operating that institution, and it's shocking you would make a mistake like this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way to go about this, and yet we're all up in arms over it. But do you know how many untold stories of kids that went broke through NIL, or 5-star NIL kids who never lived up to it and lost all their money? Or, I mean, the wasteland in NIL is what really nobody's talking about. And again, I don't mean to sit up here in my ivory tower on, on my high horse. But at what point do we put the student athlete at the front of the line and their welfare and force them to be economically educated?
Never.
It's amazing. Why? And don't even get me started on 8th grade math or senior year math that doesn't include interest rates on credit cards, that doesn't include, how to spend your money, or
what fractions don't teach you the tax code,
understanding we don't teach people how to fucking buy cars in this country, right? Like, it's wild to me that I'm going through a car buying process that I don't think most high school kids could navigate or have ever even heard of. Yet here we are paying kids tens of millions of dollars, and we're not making them understand the penalty that credit card companies put you through, what it means to overdraw your checking account. It's just wild to me. We're all so focused on making a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there ended the lesson. I don't mean to rail. I don't mean to, rile on about. I don't.
It is a frustrating situation.
I really wish that we would educate these kids about the opportunity they have with the money that is being thrown around by these collectives, by these companies, by these donors. I mean, you're handing every kid on a football team a pickup truck. You're not teaching them how to buy it in the real world. You're not teaching them how to invest his NIL money so he can pay cash for it. It's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. And then there's BuckedUp, which is not crazy to me. The best headache cure in the business right here, my friends. I told you yesterday I had a headache, popped it, boom, gone. Never thought about that headache again. It's one of the really good offshoots of buckshot, which is the best energy shot in the business. And I think you guys know this. You go, You pick up your average energy shot. You look at the label. It's got all kinds of crazy sweeteners and sugars, and not at BuckedUp. No, friends. 200 milligrams of naturally sourced caffeine, which means they use green tea leaf extract to provide caffeine. So you don't get a huge spike or a huge crash. You just get a higher level of mental clarity. So you feel better. Your headache's gone. You're able to finish that, that Excel spreadsheet pivot table, your big presentation, your sales meeting, your job interview, no matter what it is, when you need to be alert and awake and ready to rock and roll, it's Buckshot from BuckedUp. We do it every day on the show at this time. Today we're back on the Blue Raz grind.
Blue Raz train.
Which I say cheers to you, Jake. Cheers to everybody else. I'm a Blue Raz guy. There it is. It's so refreshing. When it's cold, you know that feeling when you just, it goes down
just
so
hits
smooth.
different, dude.
It does. BuckedUp, the best ingredients that make the best products that do exactly what they say they're going to do. Get to BuckedUp.com right now. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off at checkout. And listen, don't take my word for it. In the description below, you guys hook it up. There is a free 6-pack, a Buckshot waiting there for you. Absolutely free. They send it right to your front door. Go fill it out. And trust me when I say watermelon and Blue Raz, they're all good. Watermelon and Blue Raz is the cool kids like to say, they just hit different.
Bet.
Bet. Right? Put it on a t-shirt. BuckedUp.com. BuckedUp, the official energy provider of the Monty program. Who's first in today? Joseph Harper, one of the 12s. Oh, my. Look at Joey Harp over here. I'm a man of my word. I'm a man. I was wrong last night about Devin Booker. So Joey and I.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Oh, my.
Jojo, the Joester. Joseph. I don't have any other ways to say your name. Joseph here has taken to the rather stupid tact of prize picking against Devin Booker.
You don't always have to be negative.
Now, listen, I think we all understand Devin Booker's the best player in the NBA. I mean, hell, the entire world. The sex machine can have any woman he wants. He's Ric Flair. Woo! I mean, like, jet flying. I mean, what more do you need? And I warned little Joey Harper last night. Look, there's no Geno Smith coming through that door to save you. Right? I mean, Russell Wilson's a Bronco. Marshawn Lynch is dying on the inside because he eats all that red flavor coloring from Skittles. I mean, Pete Carroll's jaw is dislocated from chewing the bazooka. Listen, I can't do any more for you than telling you Devin Booker's your guy on Prize Picks. And then you turn around and you bet against him, and I have to laugh in your face. It's probably a bit much.
Look at him taking it on the chin, though.
Appreciate the $5, my guy.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro.
Coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll reveal our prize picks for the night. Make sure you get to prizepicks.com so you can play with us. Use the promo code Monty, 100% deposit matching, which means you put in $5, they give you 5 more. You put in 50, they give you 50. You put in a hundo, they give you a hundo. When you use the promo code Monty, click the link in the description below. You guys remember that story real quick before we get back to your comments? The Jacksonville Jaguars had somebody, what was it, $22.5 million they stole through a virtual credit card from the club. Do you know what he stole that money for? To play fantasy sports and gamble. He was betting.
He had positions.
Thank you. He had $500,000 parlays and was losing.
Because it's garbage.
First of all, I mean, I'm no Boss Frog, but I ain't bet no $500,000 on a parlay.
No redos.
What are you talking about?
Bro,
so
chill out.
You were so deep with the Sharks that you had to go and steal from your employer? Allegedly. It is illegal. He allegedly stole $22.5 million.
Yeah.
Because he had $500,000 parlays. I'll stick to my little prize picks in daily fantasy. Thanks. That's wild.
Yeah, we're not making any changes.
Can you guys imagine watching a football game?
You got like a 3-leg parlay.
You're watching the NBA tonight, and you're like, all right,
I'm an idiot, and I took Book under
all right,
26
I got
and a half.
5 players, $100,000 each. Devin Booker, Nikola Jokic, who's Draymond Green choking out tonight? And you're like betting these guys, and you're like, okay, 500 grand, done, send.
Who are you, Drake?
And then you're watching your boys like,
21.
You're like, oh my God. Steph Curry's 3 for 71 from 3 tonight.
This is a code 10 abort.
And if you're like me, you had him at over 26 and a half, and he's sitting on 26. The problem is they're up 17 and they took him out of the game.
You're welcome.
I was so pissed the other night. It was like 11:30 and Mrs. Monty's laying next to me. She's like, dude, we got to go to sleep. We got to get up and go to the gym.
Honey, I need to use the big cleaver. We need to go to bed.
Honey. And I'm like, no, dude, I have to watch this.
It's really unfair.
And Steph never came back in the game.
Damn.
Never. And then you're a guy like Joey Harper over here, right? And Joey last night.
Joey.
Yeah, Geno Smith fan club president Joey Harper is sitting at home chomping on his bazooka gum like he's Pete Carroll. And he's like, oh, I got this. Book isn't good. They're in the lead. It's fine. And then they started fouling Book to send him to the line.
Oh. Better send those refunds.
Devin Booker's a pretty good free thrower.
Wet.
Like he's Book. And he just drained him.
Like I'm Book.
Joey Harper had to donate $5 to the cause. Joseph, I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate you being a man of your word. Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate you playing Prize Picks with us. It's fun. Coming up in 30 minutes, we'll tell you what ours are. DK's got $25 more for the Advocates.
Doll hairs.
Let's go, buddy. Appreciate you guys. The Advocates, I think you guys know this. We did it on Giving Tuesday yesterday. The Advocates are working with the Road Home. They are trying to raise money for those that are without shelter in these winter times, and they're buying things like coats. We were at the driving range this morning. It's 7:40. It was 27 degrees out. Now, we had on vests, long sleeves, a beanie, long pants, and a heater. Imagine if you don't have that. Coats, gloves, jackets, hats, heaters. That's who they're trying to help. So hit them on Venmo. Advocates donations. Let's help the homeless population get through this winter safe and sound. Thanks to the Advocates at theadvocates.com. Thank you, DK. OG Gary, you should be allowed one transfer and a salary cap of $1 million over all your deals. One extra transfer exception if you have a season-ending injury. I mean, that's not terrible. That is not terrible. I think the salary cap would be the problem.
You know.
I do. Hero 75 for $5. It will never happen, but I wish they could tie the percentage of payout of NIL money to passing, attending classes, and keeping a certain GPA. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I don't see that happening at all. Aaron Wilson gifted a Monty Show membership.
Okay.
Go, Aaron. Appreciate you. Matthew Grunzik.
Hey, Grunzy.
He's the newest member of the Monty Show. Let's go. Appreciate you. Sean Rollins, good times for Draymond to start throwing haymakers. Yeah, that's coming up in 30 minutes after Prize Picks. Oh, Draymond. Like, did you guys see what Draymond did last night? What is the NBA going to do to Draymond Green?
I have no idea, bro.
I have no idea either.
I don't know, dude.
But by the time we talk about that, Jake's going to have a picture of Draymond slapping the hell out of Yusuf Nurkic in there. Matthew says, love you guys. Just subscribe. We love you here in Raleigh, North Carolina. You're the best on the platform as always. Go UNC. Appreciate you, Matthew. Thanks for the donation. Hope you're well in Raleigh. Let's see who's the whoa. That says what now? Look at that. DK gifted 20 Monty Show membership.
Jesus, man. What are you guys on today? That's
incredible.
incredible.
Let's go. You guys got to go get him. Craig, Rich, John Emery, Hans Stoley, Slapnuts. I love it. Keith Jenkins, Mr. Downtown, Jeff Watson, James Woods, all gifted memberships right here on the Monty Show. So we appreciate you guys all hooking it up. Thank you. Wet Blanket got himself a free membership.
There you go.
Okay. We like that quite a bit. Let's see who's in thine chat today. Phoenix Master says, "Damn it, Jim. All right, time to bear down." Chant going in the chat. We got to get the bear down chant going in the chat.
Yeah, well, if you were in our members only group, you would know that bear down in terms of the Urban Dictionary has another meaning. So
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that we want to be talking about bearing down.
Yep. Boyd Lake, yo, bros. What's up, Boyd Lake? Good to see you. Shonsky,
Hey,
a
guys.
rule is a rule. What is all right for that kid to sue because of a rule is not all right for Florida State to sue over a rule. A rule isn't a rule. It is. Yeah, it is. The difference is you're talking about the suppression of a person's rights. On a cursory level, if you look at the difference between Florida State agreed to a set of rules they would abide by for the college football playoff. When that rule was applied to them, they chose not to want to follow it. And they're not suing as yet. They have this civil investigation division, which has issued subpoenas to the College Football Playoff Committee. So I think we're a long way from suing. And I also think, again, this is political theater. I don't think there's a single person involved in this investigation. DeSantis, the AG, Rick Scott, you name it. There is not a single person involved with this investigation who really, A, thinks it has merits, or B, believes that they can make any worthwhile change.
Right.
It's frivolous and it's completely different. You're talking about telling a kid in an arbitrary fashion, well, you transferred once already. Okay, yeah, you can't transfer again and play immediately. That is a huge difference. Huge difference. Gumby Fresh Out says cocaine and pizza. Hey, man,
we all do our things. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
Cocaine and hookers, my friend.
Wasikowski.
Hey, Wasikowski.
Most commits are because of coaches, not universities themselves. So if the coaches had a previous commit who wants to leave with him, shouldn't be an issue. It's more NIL. I totally agree. And I think that's one of the main arguments we've heard for a generation now. Well, the coach can go take another job. Why can't I? And that's why they want to be called employees, because it gives them more freedoms and more ability. Sean Rollins says, give them kids the Jim Harbaugh fine print contract. Seriously. Mike Smith, students are not being paid to attend schools. These athletes are starting to be paid. Yeah, exactly right. Jeff Woodworth, Blue Bloods don't want unlimited transfers. Corporations always fail with high turnover. It's tough to compete. Ask North Carolina and Duke in basketball. When you have high turnover, it's tough to compete. You look at Bobby Hurley at Arizona State, turned his roster over, 2 straight years? I mean, it's very difficult to compete. Jim Choi, what's up, Jim? Hey, it's all good. The only one-time transfer rule wasn't going to hold up. Nothing wrong with letting student athletes have freedom of movement. Unintended consequences, which means we don't know what those will be. But I don't know how you fix it. We can sit here and I don't know how you fix it.
No idea.
I don't know what the answer is. I truly don't. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clip says, Monty, you're awesome. Colorado line will be better. I appreciate you. Thank you. Deion Sanders. Yes, he's real Wade Nation Gaming's been a member for 2 months. Thank you. Deion Sanders and what he did in the portal. I mean, he completely revamped his offensive line. I
sifted through all that.
Completely revamped it. I mean, it's
Incredible.
Unbelievable what he did. DK for $5. Call me biased Suns fan, but don't ever doubt Book. Ever. You never doubt Book. It's my guy. I have become, and I know people will not like this, I am telling you, the NBA is not a team league anymore. It's a player league.
Facts.
And I am a fan of Devin Booker. My heart is a fan of the Chicago Bulls, but we all know where that's going.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. We're never winning again. It's not. Matt says they have your show on at the gym I go to in Raleigh all the time. Oh, I appreciate that.
That's sick, dude.
Appreciate that.
Where do you guys watch from? I love when we do this. All the people in the comment section. Where do you watch from?
Yeah, I that's always fun. I do like that. Kevin the Destroyer says 39th like. We have over 1,000 views today and only 48 like. Please hit the like button when you get a moment. We appreciate that very much. I know that we're always on in delivery vans. Like I know we have, and I always say this, we have a ton of UPS, FedEx, Amazon drivers. I know we
Appreciate you guys.
I know we have a lot of police officers that watch the show. I know in our Phoenix days, we had a lot of military that watched the show. The Stever comes
never to
mind.
be heard from again, dude.
Yeah, still have not heard back from the Stever.
Damn.
So, Jay Chapman, I love watching college professors crying their eyes out over football games without college degrees making more money than they do. Yeah, well,
That's why we're here.
Kids make a ton of money.
As they should, because they can do something you can't do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. OG Gary, one-time transfer is the best approach. That now brings back intent, and if you do leave, you have to ensure you have a landing spot. That philosophically, Gary, that lines up a lot. I'm with you 100%. I think you're right. You can stay at place X and be a star, or leave the bench and play. So many kids, and Drew Pine back to Notre Dame's a great example of this. And you may know this. I'm sorry if I'm being redundant. Drew Pine, the quarterback at Arizona State now, transferred. He started his career at Notre Dame, was told you're going to have to compete for your job. Didn't want to do that. So he transferred to Arizona State and won the job, but then got hurt. And now he's transferring back to Notre Dame not to be a football player. He has 15 credit hours he needs to take to get his degree this spring. He's going to transfer back so he can be a grad transfer and go anywhere he wants. And he's hoping to get a starting job. And I'm just like, dude, once a quitter, always a quitter, man. Quitters never win.
Facts.
And winners never quit. It is what it is. Mandatory portal slap.
Excuse me, the proper nomenclature is Mando, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mike Smith. Good to see you, Mike. I appreciate you. Cougar Tracks, go Jazz. Yeah, we got to talk about the Jazz later. The Draper, Utah Jazz. Marcus Emmerich says, I'm watching at work. Okay. Shouty, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas.
DFW, Tarrant
Let's
County.
go.
Actually, that's not Tarrant County.
It's not Tarrant County. Thank you. Orem, a.k.a. Orm. Yeah, there's no E there. What are you doing, man? Orm. Love my friends in Orem. DK says Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Somebody sent me a DM with a GIF of Forrest Gump saying Greenbow, Alabama. It is one of my favorite movie lines ever. I love the way he says Alabama in that movie. It's my best. Aaron Wilson says the car. Yes. Careful driving. Axe says work, nuclear engineering office. Hey now.
Dude, you're putting in launch codes, dude?
I like it. I like it. Where's the nuclear football, man? Oh, that's with Hunter Biden's laptop. Never mind.
Oh!
Keep it real.
Drew Dozer, the Prophet, Hilltop, USA. Always good to be on top. Joseph Carruthers, Vancouver, Washington. What's up?
That's unfortunate, dude.
Why is that unfortunate? Great golf in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Great golf. Monty Oza Ribeye, I watch from my phone. Okay. Jeff Woodward, you're in Alaska? Are you really?
Well, that explains his profile picture.
You know. The Buffalo Hunter. Says, I was a Jazz fan until they traded Don. Now I'm just a Don fan.
See, that's how it works in the damn league, dude.
Welcome to I'm a Don fan too. Midnight Magic Musings, Gainesville, Florida.
Gainesville.
Go Gators. Keaton Critchlow. What's up, Keaton? Good to see you, dude. Watching on my phone, local in the Valley of Salt Lake. Good to see you.
Nice.
The Buffalo Hunter. I listen while I'm at work like a podcast. I like it. Matthew donated a membership. Let's go. I love to see where all you guys are from. We appreciate that.